Yo, 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 what's going on? It's your girl AP The Gift, and you're rocking with CTC TV.
Baby, you don't need makeup. I'ma show you what you're made of. Let me show you that I'm real. Baby, what are you afraid of? I can tell that you never felt this way.
Welcome to CTC TV. This has been long overdue, but I wanted to make sure I was going to put some value on here for all independent artists, just like myself out there, and some really consistent content. So without any further ado, I'm about to get right into it. This is week 1. What is it like getting booked as an independent artist for a show? How do I prep and all that good stuff? So shout out to We Book Bands and shout out to Indie on the Move. Indie on the Move is a booking agency meant for independent artists and bands, and it's a great platform if you're looking to get booked. They do require a draw that you come out with. Basically, they give you tickets. It's a whole process depending on the promoter and such, but it's a great platform if you're looking to get booked. I do recommend Indie on the Move. That's what I went through. Dope promoters. Shout out to We Book Bands, aka Sean Healy. Really dope experience. It's my first time performing out there in Arizona, and I will definitely do it again. It was super dope. So content, I already have a lot of content on my feed, so more so using my content and running ads. I tried ads for the first time. I didn't really like the results of the ads, so maybe next time I'll try something different. But yeah, I feel like next time I'll try something very creative and think outside the box. But I can't say just what just yet. But stay in touch with that. Crowd control, okay? Crowd control is so important. I made sure I really rehearse and practice my crowd control. You may slip up every now and then, but as long as you come back and you end it on a strong note, I feel like will make the show so much worthwhile. You want to really give your audience a show. If they're paying their hard-earned money to come out and see you, you want to make sure it's worthwhile. So I made sure a lot of crowd control, a lot of crowd engagement, a lot of interactions I could give to the crowd that was going to make the show worthwhile and coming out to see me again. So yeah, I had wristbands for my supporters, for new people too who I didn't know, future supporters. I had merch for them that they could take home with them that wasn't very costly, like a wristband, something that was easy to keep and they could remember me by. So yeah, that's what I really did, and I feel like was very effective. And I also have flyers that I passed out as well. Yes, sound check was interesting. This was my first actual sound check. I went through a lot of shows, and unfortunately I wasn't blessed with a lot of professional promoters such as Sean Healy and the ones I'm dealing with now. So I had to deal with no sound check before. This is my first time having a sound check, and when I did do sound check, some people thought I was nervous, so that kind of got to my head. I felt like, dang, other people might think I'm nervous now. But I wasn't nervous. It was just my first sound check, so I didn't know we were supposed to go through the entire song first. So it was a different experience for sure. But yeah, I ended up just, praying. That's what calms me down every time. I pray, I meditate, do deep breaths, and that gets me through every time. So shout out to God for keeping my composure. Yes, that's what I feel like is the most important part about putting on a show and having a show is connecting with the audience. If you don't really have any type of engagement with them, I feel like it's kind of pointless and they'll just forget about you really fast. So I wanted to make sure I said who I was a bunch of times, wanted to make sure I announced the songs, wanted to make sure I was talking to the crowd. Just doing those key things will really stand out along any performance. People really want to know who you are. Even if it's a dope performance, if you don't say who you are, people will forget really fast. So I feel like being myself, I wouldn't even call it a strategy, but just being myself and making sure I spoke to everyone. I didn't let my ego get in the way of a lot of things. I feel like especially with a lot of upcoming artists, independent artists, some people can let their ego be fed and not want to talk to anybody. As soon as I got off the stage, I got into the crowd, into the people, and just started shaking hands, talking to people, telling them I really appreciate them for coming out. and yeah, just really getting in touch with the people, because I feel like if you let those moments go by, you lose that momentum. So yeah, that's one of my key tips right there. How did I leverage the opportunity of this show? Was just being very informative, letting people know everything I had going on, from me being an artist, from where to find me, from how to spell my name, from leaving them with a token of my appreciation, something that they could leave with for free. They didn't have to pay for it, that they could take with them and remember me by. For me, that was a wristband and that was a flyer for sure. Yes, I would share rehearse. Like, I'm still getting more and more comfortable doing that, but just rehearse. You can never be too prepared, in my opinion. And yeah, just practice being in front of a crowd. Even if you don't have a crowd to perform in front of yet, just pretend like there's one there. As an artist, I feel like we have to be delusional sometimes and see things other people don't see. So yeah, that's definitely what I would recommend, is rehearse. Keep rehearsing. Even if you feel like you got it, rehearse some more, because you never know. Shout out to the promoter. They made it very easy. When I got there was already a DJ. We did a sound check. I checked in with the DJ, got to know him, got his Instagram, just connected with them one on one. So I really say, like, that was a big part of that. Like I said, going through sound check, testing how the sound was gonna be. I also brought my own shield, like I have on right now. I have my own isolation shield. I do recommend independent artists doing that and taking that with any show, because you just don't know. You'll know how the mics are going to be, if people clean the mics. It's a lot of different things. And then also, you don't know if it's going to be too loud. So I like to just be on the safe side, bring my own protective shield, so I don't have to worry about those little things. So yeah, that really helped out as well. It made me get closer to the mic too, so I didn't have to worry about a lot of plosives in people's ears on stage. So that gave me also a peace of mind. Lighting was already really great. They asked if I would like the lighting and stuff too. So yeah, for the most part, everything was pretty cool. I was very appreciative of them asking me, was this okay? Was this okay? How did I like this? How did I like that? Like, that made me feel very appreciated as an artist. So yeah, I really appreciated that. Yes, I would say do it. Don't be afraid, and just practice. Practice makes perfect. I say go to another show to where there's openers too, and see how those openers are. Go to a show that you really want to see and study the openers. I say study your favorite artists, study crowd control, study crowd engagement, study those legends. It's a reason why they're legends. Like, the crowd control is serious. If you pay and go to a show, you don't want it to be a waste of your money. So I feel like do the same thing. Study the same artists that you would want to go see, and really take some of those tips in, and make it your own. And that's really what I did to prep for this show, was really, really, like, study a lot of the greats. I was nervous as hell, I'm not going to lie, but as soon as I got on that stage, everything just kind of like flew, Honestly, everything flew together. I had a little stutters in my head and stuff, but, it wasn't anything that anybody mentioned or noticed in my perspective. Everything ended up flowing together the way that it should. So just keep going. That's what I would recommend too. Regardless if you mess up, keep going. The audience will barely notice, and just get right back into the music. That's all it's about anyways. Perform, put on a show, rehearse, and have a show track. A show track really helped me out as well. A show track really showed, like, my professionalism, and it helps the audience be more connected. They paid for a show, not to just hear you sing your music over your music. So yeah. Also, shout out, this is not a paid promotion, but I just want to shout them out again, because they did help me with my show Jitters, to SunMed. SunMed is a CBD company and Delta 8 company, and they specialize in tinctures and water solubles. And but when I went to the airport in Atlanta, they have the only one in Georgia that I know of, and it's a CBD store inside the airport, and you can actually take the products on the plane. So I got a free sample from them, and it was really, really dope. It was these sativa tinctures, and it was like a week's worth. You could take them once a day, and I actually took them for like for the show. They was really small. I took the tinctures for the show. They were sativa tinctures. And yeah, I ain't gonna lie, they really helped me. They gave me a lot of energy too. Even if I like smoked, if I took a tincture right after, I was right back up and active. And it kicked in really, really fast. So yeah, I really, really like that too. It gave me a lot of energy and a good boost too. So I just had to mention that as well. So shout out to Sunmed. Shout out to the lady who was over it. She a real one for sure. That's a good question, not gonna lie. I would say it changed my perspective as an artist. It opened my mind a lot more to the possibilities of what can happen when you really just put yourself out there. Go to a whole nother state where nobody knows you and see if they rock with your music or not. You know, just really put myself out there. I literally talked and spoke to literally everyone in the room that I recall. You know, if I didn't, hey, you gotta call me out and let me know. But from my understanding, I did speak to everybody or somebody in there who knew somebody if I didn't speak to them. Definitely, I spoke to somebody who did know them. So I connected with a lot of people, shook a lot of hands, made a lot of one-on-one interactions. I feel like that's what it's about at the end of the day, you know. How did I handle the pressure for this event, prepping for such an event? I would have to say praying, honestly, because as soon as I was accepted the opportunity, as soon as they accepted me and told me, hey, like, you're going to be booked for the show, like, I knew it was the reason. It was no mistakes because I got the opportunity. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten it. So just alone with that, so much. It showed me so much that I didn't see myself before. And it showed me like, hey, like, you deserve this opportunity. So just as much as anybody else. So go out there and do it. So yeah, like, I definitely was very, very appreciative of those moments. And yeah, that's always going to stick with me. Just go out there as an independent artist. If nobody knows you, just go and see. I literally checked my streams and seen like Arizona was some of those top stream states, you know, out there. And I just went, honestly. And it's crazy. I ended up meeting a lot of dope connections. One waiter I had to mention, shout out to Meech. He bought some tickets to the show right on the spot, and I had just met him. And then when he came, he brought his girl. His girl actually ended up hearing my music before. She was like, that's crazy, you know. I was just telling him I actually heard of your music before. It popped up on my TikTok one day. And I'm like, wow. Like, no. She's like, yes, you know. She was like, I can't remember if it was Keep Me in the Loop or Sun Up to Sundown, but I've heard of you before, so keep doing what you're doing because people were watching. And like, that just stuck with me. Like, dang, you know, out of 1 billion people in this freaking world, you know, I got to experience a moment like that. Like, somebody out here in a whole nother state has really heard my music before. I didn't even know him, didn't even meet him, and me coming this taking this trip showed me that. So I know God makes no mistakes. So that's what helped me get out of a lot of like jitters too. Like, I realized this is meant for me. You know, everything is aligned, everything is destined. And I feel like social media show you a lot of things that aren't realistic. A lot of people feel like, I love Atlanta, but a lot of people feel like Atlanta is just the end all be all for music. But it's so many other areas and states and cities out there that you can explore and really get out your comfort zone and grow and meet a lot of new supporters who you would have never thought would be your supporters. So yeah, a bunch of strangers that I met and became friends with, and it was an amazing journey. So I recommend it to any upcoming artists to just go put yourself out there. If you get an opportunity to open up for an artist, go for it. You know, it may be scary, but they chose you for a reason. So appreciate every moment, appreciate the people who show up, because that's what it's all about. You know, I appreciate the opportunity for getting to talk about my experience, talk about my latest show out in Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to you, Create to Create TV, for having me. It's your girl, AP The Gift. You already know life is a gift, so we live in the present. I'm out.
Baby, you don't need makeup. I'ma show you what you're made of. Let me show you that I'm real.